Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part one of McShreds Rig Rundown. My buddy Tom Forsberg over in Sweden has been after me for a while to do this, so I thought I'd take this opportunity while I'm moving everything to go ahead and do that. Won't be able to go through all of it because, quite frankly, I have too many guitars and it would take too long, and I just don't feel like it. So I'll run through some of the amps that I use and my pedal board, and just for fun. So hope you enjoy it. We'll start with my newest amp, and that is the PV Classic 20 Mini Ed. Just got this one not too long ago, and my buddy Michael sent me a video. He said, man, I think this would work really well for what you do. So I watched the video and I was like, wow, that does sound pretty good. So I went to the store and went and tried it out, and I could tell from the minute I plugged into it that I would like it. So I had my PVJSX 212 combo that I really liked, and I didn't think I'd ever get rid of, but I went ahead and traded it for this amp, and I don't regret it. I haven't, like I said, I haven't had too much time to play it, but what little I have played it, I think it's gonna work very well for me. It has an EL84 power section, which I find that the EL84s add a little more high end and a little more chime to your sound, and for me, I tend to pick a lot of the notes that I play, so it adds a little, to me, it adds a little more sharpness to the pick attack and a little more definition there that I really like. So it also has a boost function on it, so if you need a little more decibels, if you're playing on the clean and or the overdrive channel, you hit that boost and it brings you up a few notches on the decibel thing, so you can cut through a little bit more if you need it. It's got a digital reverb, which lately I've been favoring the digital reverbs because they just sound a little bit more 3D to my ear. They just sound a little bit more fuller and stuff like that, which I really like. I played spring reverb obviously in the past, but I really like the digital reverbs these days, so real happy with that. So it's got the mic simulated direct out on it, so if you're recording, you just go out of that into your interface and you don't have to worry about micing it or anything like that. You could also use it in a live situation. You could go into the board and go through the PA if you needed to do that, so which would be nice. So so far, can't say anything bad about it. I'm looking forward to recording with it, and I'm sure you'll be hearing it soon. Next down is my Jet City. It's a 20 watt head as well, and it's a 2-channel. This is a JCA 22H head. I endorse Jet City and very proud to do so. I played Jet City for a long time. I was playing Jet City before this music thing kind of happened for me a little bit, and I had the 50 watt head back then, but I wanted the 20 watt head, so they hooked me up with the 20 watt head. And if you're familiar with Jet City at all, they're kind of, this was Mike Soldano's kind of he was involved with this, so he helped with the design of these amps. And if you like that kind of that Mike Soldano thing, then you'll like these amps a lot. It has a great overdrive, has a good clean channel on it, great clean channel, and it's a versatile amp too. It'll go from do the clean thing, and it'll do the crunch, and it'll go into metal territory as well. So like I said, if you like that Soldano thing, you'll definitely like the Jet City amps. I believe it's an EL84 power section as well, so it has the same kind of that note definition. And you've heard this amp if you've heard my new music from Inharmonic Dissonance. I used it a lot on that album, so it's definitely on there. So, and it has the masters for both the overdrive and the crunch, which is nice. And then it has the preamp controls for the crunch and the overdrive, which is nice. So just gives it that little bit more bit of versatility, which I'm all about that. So next amp down is my Laney. It is the Ironheart 60 watt head, and it has an EL34 power section in it, like the Marshalls and all that good stuff. Didn't really need this amp, but I saw it and I saw it at a great price. I thought, well, for that price I need to go try it out. So I went and I plugged into it, and it's kind of like the other two. I plugged into it. I knew I would like the Jet City, but because I had one of those before. But when it's kind of like a PV, I plugged into it, and the minute I plugged into it, I knew that I would like it. So, but the thing that blew me away about this amp was the clean channel on it. The clean channel is pretty amazing on this thing, and you would think that, you know, this thing will obviously do metal really easily. But for me, it was the clean channel. I was like, wow, that's a really nice clean channel. And it has digital reverb as well. So again, you get that whole digital reverb thing, and which is nice. So it's a versatile amp, man, and I'm glad I went ahead and got it. It also has a watts feature on it that it will go down to, I believe it goes down to 5 watts is how that works. And the PV, it'll go down to 5 watts as well. So, which is nice because when you're playing and you need all the tone and stuff at a low volume, that's what you can do. You can turn that down, and it's really nice for recording as well. So, just a great amp, you know. So, go check one out if you get a chance. Next thing down is my Jet City 212 cabinet. I have hauled this thing around with me for a long time. It's the only cabinet I use. I like 212s. I prefer 212s these days. 212s will do for me what I need it to do. And this cabinet just sounds great. All my amps sound great through it. It's the only cabinet I use. It has eminent speakers in it. They're specially designed for Jet City. And it'll do stereo or it'll do mono. So just a great sounding cabinet, and does what I need it to do, and that's all I care about. So as long as it works for me, I'm happy. So Jet City, check them out if you get a chance. Now, last but not least, over here is my Fuchs. It's a Blackjack 21 Mark II. Amazing amp, made by Andy Fuchs, and it has its own thing going on, man. It's got a great clean, it's got a great digital reverb, and probably one of the most articulate distortion channels in an amp that I've heard. So it sounds different than the other three. It's hard to explain, but it just has its own thing going on. Got plenty of gain for what you need to do. I wouldn't call it a metal amp, but it would definitely go into some metal territory if you needed it to. So, but just a beautiful clean. It has a 6V6 power section in it. So if you're familiar with Andy's work, then you know what these things are. And I endorse Fuchs, and I'm very happy to do that as well, because they came along at a time when I needed them to. That's all I can say. And I've met those guys many times, and proud to call them friends. And so Deborah and Andy over there at Fuchs, great people. So, and they make an amazing product. So again, I have played this amp a lot. It was used on Uprising, my album Uprising, quite a bit, and the tone on It Is What It Is that amp. And every time I listen back to that song, I think, man, that's awesome. So it did what I wanted it to do, and that's all I care about. So it's a 20 watt head, but I'll tell you right now, it sounds like 50 watts. Andy makes them loud. So it will definitely keep up with anything out there as far as I'm concerned. So great amp. I haven't used it a whole lot just because I've been doing other things, but it definitely will get used, and it's kind of one of my prized possessions. Very, very proud to have this amp. So check out Fuchs Audio if you get a chance. Okay, now we'll go to my pedal board. My pedal board is pretty much loaded with mod tone pedals. I endorse mod tone, and again, this is one of those things where I'm proud to do so. Mod tone makes a great pedal at a great price, and it's one of those things that I don't care what the name on the product is, as long as it works for me. And these pedals definitely work for me, so that's why I use them, and I'm happy to do so. Yeah, there's some other pedals on there, but the majority of them are mod tone. So we'll start with the first one in the line here, and that is my Jimi Hendrix Octave Fuzz. I was looking for that Kenny Wayne Shepherd blue on black sound, and I had a pedal that was doing that very well, but it got stolen from me, so I had to go and find another pedal. Well, luckily I found this one used, And they don't make these anymore, but when I plugged into it, it kind of gave me that sound, that Dan Armstrong Green Ringer sound is what I was looking for, and this one gave me that. So, I can get that whole, that solo to Blue on Black by Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I can get that, and you've heard this pedal. I used it on the whole song on my first album, the self-titled Cheetos Green Quilt, and that is the sound that you hear, is that pedal right there. So if you're looking for that type of sound, I don't think they make these anymore, but definitely if you find one, it's a great pedal. So next one is my Modtone Dyno Drive, and this thing is such an integral part of my sound. I would be lost without it. It's on virtually all the time. It's obviously not on the clean stuff, but it is on all the time. Sometimes I'll roll the gain down. Most of the time it stays where it's at. It's definitely used for a boost, and it goes into the, everything runs through into the front of the amps. But this thing, I don't know, it's just such a part of my style that I would very much miss it if it wasn't there. So yeah, I don't know, it's just a great overdrive as far as I'm concerned, and it works for me, and that's all I care about. So it is very much part of my sound though. So I guess that's all I can say about that. Check Modtone out though if you get a chance. Next is the Space Flanger. I use that on my song Uprising for my CD Uprising. It's on there. It's a great sounding flanger. The flanger is one of the first pedals I ever bought when I first started learning how to play guitar. My stepmom, they went out to buy me a pedal, and they had no idea what pedals were, and so she heard a flanger, and I believe it was a DOD back then, so she heard that flanger, she thought it sounded the coolest out of all the pedals, so they got that for me for Christmas. I wish I still had that pedal, but so a flanger, it is what it is, and so you get that whole, Eddie Van Halen used one. I haven't used it a whole lot lately, but it's just a great sounding flanger, and it flanges. So, and then the next one over is my Atomic Phaser. I use this one a lot on Uprising too. It's on a lot of the tracks that's on there. When I first got it, I kept it on virtually all the time. I just liked the way that it sounded. So it's a great sounding phaser. And again, the flanger and the phaser I don't use a whole lot right now. I just haven't had any need for it. So next over is my analog delay by Modtone. Great sounding delay. This thing is on all the time. I use it just for slapback, and it's kind of one of those that I miss when it's not there. I don't know what it is about it, but it's on all the time, and it's just a great sounding delay. So that's all I care about, and it's one of those that is on all the time. So next one over is my Modtone Awful Chorus. I just got this one not too long ago, so I haven't had much time to utilize it, and I'm sure I will in the future, but it's a great sounding chorus as well. So then I've got my chromatic tuner, and it does what it's supposed to, tune the guitar. Here's another one that's on all the time, is my BBE Sonic Stomp. It is on all the time. It's a subtle effect, but it definitely adds. I notice it when it's not there. It adds back in some of the highs and the lows, that you lose going through the pedals. And it's very subtle, but again, I can tell when it's not there. So I really like it. I like what it does to the signal. So check those pedals out. If you use, if you have a pretty long signal chain, these things will add back in some of the dynamics. It's a great pedal. Next one over is, let's see, my Digitech Jam Man looper. I haven't used it much. I just got it not too long ago too, and hopefully if I get some more clinics and all this good stuff, I'll be using it. And it does exactly what it's supposed to. It's just a great little pedal. And it's kind of tricky if you're not used to using a flanger, or not a flanger, a looper. You need to practice at it, which I need to practice. So anyway, Digitech, great pedal. And then I've got my Boss, the NS2, the noise suppressor, which obviously when you have a long signal chain like I do and things like that, you're going to get noise. So this does what it's supposed to do, and it keeps everything quiet for me, and I like that. Then the next most indispensable pedal that I probably have is my Morley Bad Horsey. Greatest wall I've ever played. I will play no other wall. Morley's a great company, and very happy to endorse these pedals as well. It's just a great wall. No other wall will work for me, and you will never see me playing another wall. So that's all I can say about that. Everything is held together and done all that good stuff by George L's cables, patch cables, and then of course my purple cables. So again, George L's a great company. I'm very, very proud to endorse them as well. You'll never see me using another cable because these things are the best. If you would have told me not long ago that there was a difference in cables, I would have said, are you crazy? But there is a difference, and I immediately, when I got my George L's, I A/B'd the cables I was using, and sure enough, there was a difference. So these kind of retain your signal and your tone a lot more than some of the other cables out there. So again, it's a subtle thing, but I can definitely hear it. And like I said, great cables, and definitely check them out. Sandy, she's great, always has been great to me, and very proud to call her a friend as well. So, and the last thing is my Behringer Ultra G. This is what I use to go out of the amps that don't have a direct out. I go into this, and it has cabinet simulation on it, a 412 cabinet simulation, and again, there may be better direct boxes out there, I don't know, but this is the one I use, and this is the one I've used for a while. So it just works for me. And so I go out of this, like the Jet City, I go out of that and plug it in through the link over here, and then go out of this into my interface, and there you get your signal. So again, it just works for me. So anyway, that's part one of McShreds Rig Rundown. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe one of these days when I get time, I'll go through all my guitars. So anyway, peace out, later.